Welcome back. Welcome back to the 210 show. Today, we got a really special podcast for you. We are going to offer some analysis from the Blitz League fantasy football draft. But before we do, I'm going to pass it to my left for introductions. Go ahead, sir. Take it away.
Tony here. Not with a lot of takes today, though.
This is Angry Joey. I'm the commissioner. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how our league is structured.
I am the hater with facts.
And I'm Wu Pig Sui, the newest member of the Blitz League.
Newest, but most important.
There you go.
I am your co-host as well, or otherwise known as Light Skin Jay. So now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our commissioner, Mr. Joey Goodell.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to talk about right now is the league that we actually set up about, 12 years ago? Going into our 12th year now,
Yep,
right?
I think so.
So that's actually pretty remarkable for a dynasty league. Typically, dynasty leagues don't stick around for more than 2-3 years before they start to fall apart, or you start seeing members come and go and blah, blah, blah. But we have not had much of a revolving door. In fact, we've actually had a waiting list for people trying to get into our league. Since the inception, we've only lost two people.
Yep.
Two people, and both because they, one just stopped really watching football, and then the other one because he moved. But because of that, we were fortunate enough to get Kyle finally in our league,
After 8 years.
After 8 years, he had been patiently waiting, and he was our little groupie there for the longest time.
Whoa.
Hey, tell him the story about when the first time I tried to get him in the league, or what happened.
What you mean?
When I proposed, hey, let's add Kyle to the league, another team, and what
Oh, you
happened.
Want to do
talking about-
expansion?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
the
talking about
expansion.
moving it to a 12-man league?
Right, when I tried
Okay,
to
so
expand it.
that's a funny thing, When we first set up the league, we made it a 10-man roster. So there's only 10 members in our league. Now, to be able to expand it to a 12-man roster, it would have changed a lot of dynamics. It would have changed how, basically it would have put him in a position where he was going to suck for a while. Because, we didn't
Unless
know
we did an
exactly how
expansion
to get it going and have an expansion draft and blah, blah, blah. So, we just kind of stayed put. But the other thing is that we have two standing rules that, because we put everything to a vote. Any kind of change that takes place or whatever, we have to have a vote. And two of those things, there's two votes out there or two situations that require an absolute unanimous vote. Now, the way we actually have it, since we're a 10-man league, if somebody proposes a rule change, they are not allowed to vote. Okay? And that's where the tiebreaker comes in, unless it actually comes across to a unanimous vote. The unanimous vote is if there's a change to the roster spots, okay, to the starting roster spots. If there's a change there, then it has to be a unanimous vote. And the reason for that is quite simple. If they actually, people draft according to those roster spots. So, let's say that, like for a good example is we try every year to do away with the kicker or a defense and stuff like that, because it's pretty old school that, but nevertheless, there are some people that actually draft accordingly, so people are apprehensive about making any kind of changes to the starting roster. And the next thing is any kind of scoring changes. So in our Blitz League that we've had along for quite some time, we do have some unique rules as well, namely for our quarterback position. Instead of a point for every 25 yards as in standard scoring, it's 1 point for every 10 yards, So needless to say, the quarterback actually scores a hell of a lot of points, depending on, of course, which one you have. But anyway, so once again, we've actually been around for about 12 years now. And, we have a hell of a league.
Yep, and we're all in San Antonio. So when we get together for draft day, it's like Christmas for us. All of us get together. We have a potluck and basically spend the entire day doing our rookie draft. And it's awesome.
Yeah. So when we first started it up, the startup draft, and I'm pretty sure I remember saying a little bit about this, because in a dynasty league is far different than a redraft league in the sense that you're going to be keeping your roster permanent. And the only time you ever see any kind of roster changes or anything like that is if you trade or if you drop somebody off your roster. That's the big difference. And, so you get to loving your roster, and you become attached to these players. So anyway, the Dynasty's a lot of fun, but as Tony was actually mentioning, the reason why we've been together is because we've all been really, really close friends for a very long time. And, we actually are able to get together. There's a personality to our league, if you will. And, I've been fortunate enough to put this thing together when we did, and we just managed to keep everything together for the longest time. So right now, the scoring that we actually have is it's a one quarterback tight end premium. So what that means is the tight end actually, instead of getting a point for every 10 yards or
a reception,
he gets a 1.5 per reception. So that's tight end premium. We do have what we call a taxi squad. So think of a taxi squad as your practice squad, if you will. Players that are actually within 3 years of being in the league are eligible to be on your taxi squad. After that, they have to come off. So, you got to think pretty strategically. The reason why we do that is because rookies tend to not mature for at least the first 2 years, sometimes even longer when you're talking about especially tight ends. So that's why we do have a taxi squad, just to allow them to mature, because what we don't want to see happen is people dropping somebody that is going to come to their own in 2 years' time, but they have to turn around and just drop them. So yeah, that's our roster is about 22 spots, and then we have 9 taxi squad members. Yeah. So they're pretty big. They're pretty big. And every year we have a rookie draft, and that's 4 rounds. And as Tony was mentioning, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So anyway, anybody else?
Day of the year.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, as far as the expansion thing goes, myself and another person that was on the waiting list, we tried essentially every year to get into the league. and every time we would propose something, we kept proposing something, more and more less restrictive, to the point to where the last time we tried, which was like 3 years ago, we offered to create 2 expansion teams and completely take our rosters off of the waiver wire. So we would have been absolutely horrible. And it was still denied. So at that point, we were like, they're never going to do it.
And Mel, I asked, since I was the one that tried to sponsor y'all in, I put a whole draft or a whole plan together that wouldn't even take effect for another 2 years. And even then, still got voted down. So,
yeah. But
we're sensitive.
So there you go.
If you know our league, that's pretty common. These guys don't want any changes.
Yeah.
They think everything's planned to be against them.
This is
psych.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is nice, though. We have half the league here, though, since the 10-man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. One very important point, too, Commissioner Joey, is the starting positions that we have. We have a total of 10 players, 10 total positions that we have to put in our starting lineup every week. But if you take out the kicker and the defense, that's 8. So from a roster construction perspective, it's a start 8 league. It's a 10-man, tight end premium, PPR, start 8. Yes, start 8 league. Well, go ahead.
Anyway, that's pretty much our league. Now, to my right, Mr. Tony, he's actually set up another Dynasty league that we've actually been a part of for what are you going on, our 5th year now?
I think it's year 5, yeah.
Sleeper, right?
Like so it's a little bit
Superflex,
different. I'll let him explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, well, so it's a bunch of the same guys. There's some other guys who don't live in town, so we do get together for that draft. But I wanted to set up something that was a lot different than the Blitz League, so we did Superflex. And for those of you who know, that's where there's a flex spot that is quarterback eligible, so you can start a quarterback, which you almost always want to do because they score more points than the other positions. And so the draft is a lot different, right? We have a lot of quarterbacks taken super early, and it's just fun and gives a different dynamic, and a lot of the same guys. But it's
in that league. I think we've had a different champion every year, right? In that league, has anybody back to back?
I don't think so.
No,
nope.
Not that I remember.
Yep, Joey, me, Kurt, and
Me.
and Kyle.
Kyle, yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, we got 3 champs here. All right.
Hey, I just a little side. I've won in every fantasy league I've been in. So just wait.
Yeah, but not Blitz.
This
I ain't worried.
This
He hasn't played yet.
first.
He just got here.
Just got here.
I'm not worried about it.
I will say, Woo Pig is doing his thing. He came in the league, replaced an owner who was stagnant for years, didn't trade.
Yes,
he had
he
no
did.
depth. He didn't even have his practice squad full. And Kyle came in, guns a-blazing, trading all over the place, but good trade, like smart. Like he's obviously he was not built to win now, so he got rid of his older players for younger players and picks.
It always helps when your boss gives you 2 first-round picks.
Just,
That's just me being salty. He's done a good job.
That was later in the week. That was later in the year when that happened. But
that was a balanced trade, and here's why. because there were people that were pissed saying that I got robbed, and then there were people that were pissed saying that I robbed Josh. So
That's
you know
fair
it's a good
point.
trade then.
yeah, you know it's a good trade.
Exactly. And I think that, Tony, you actually said it best a couple of pods ago, that if you're stagnant in this league,
Yeah.
you're going to finish dead middle every
And that's the
freaking
worst.
year.
Or
And-
worse.
You know that better than anyone the first few years, and then all of a sudden you started making all these trades, aggressive trades, and what happened? You started making the playoffs every year. You know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made any aggressive trades if it wasn't my conversation with you,
No.
Tony. There's no way I would have done it because you were right. You were right. Finishing in the middle is
Well, let's face it. I mean, now you actually have the most ships in the league and stuff like that, but it wasn't because of your initial draft.
keep going.
Your initial draft sucked balls, dude. It was terrible. And everybody was clowning you. I mean, when I picked up Andrew Luck, you lost your shit. You were just completely freaking out. And then, of course, Tyrone comes in right after that, and he picks up, who was it? Aaron Rodgers. At the time, it was a great pick. And then you pissed yourself and reached for Ben frickin' Roethlisberger.
That wasn't a reach.
Yeah. So you just by those names, you know how old the league is, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that was cool. But let's talk about our most recent draft for the Blitz League. Is that okay? Anybody else got anything to say before we do that?
Nope. Let's get into it. Rookie
Let's do it.
draft, baby.
Okay. Because we have about 48 minutes. So let's get into it. So I only had 3 picks in this draft that we did. And again, we did. When did we do our draft? When was that?
May 31st.
May 31st of this year.
Correct.
That's when we did our draft.
Yeah.
So
We like to do it as soon after the NFL draft as possible. We usually hold it in May.
There's a lot of reasons for that too, just because, school season's coming up, and people go on vacations, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and Joey Goodell, can you talk about the waiver wire after the draft? Do you open it before, after,
Okay,
during,
so
or
when
we
we
have to
have
do with our
our
rosters?
when we have our draft, your teams are obviously going to be over. So what I have to do is I actually have to extend the limits of those positions, to be able to accommodate, because there's some people that might have traded for additional picks, so they might actually have 5-6 extra players on their roster. So basically, what happens is I tell everybody, that I will actually open up waivers and let them know exactly when the waivers are going to be processed. But I have to wait until everybody has made their roster legit. In other words, if a person can be on their taxi squad, move them over there, and then also make your roster limits legit as well. I have to wait until everybody's done that, and then I send out a notification to the guys telling them waivers will be processed here. If you aren't aware of that, or if you don't get
A lot
the
of
message,
contention during that time.
yes. And this is where, I get in trouble as commissioner is if I fuck that up,
Yeah. We do call him Joey Goodell, and he does get all the booze.
Yeah. So anybody out there wanting to be
along the way.
yeah, anybody out there wants to be a commissioner, good luck, man.
All right, we're at 15 minutes.
All right, let's go.
Are we going to just go down the list of what was drafted or what we picked? What do you want to do?
Well, I was going to say we can just go down the rounds here.
Let's do it.
Quickly,
So-
and then you can give your kind of perspective.
Absolutely.
Right?
So of course, this is the 2025 rookies that we're talking about here. And also point of order as well, because this has happened in our league history. If there are any players who are not on anyone's team, they are also eligible to be drafted during this draft. So,
That's right.
but to start, the first pick off the board was Ashton Genty, running back for Boise State. He was taken by the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 2 was Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina, who was drafted by the Chargers. Third was Travion Henderson, running back from Ohio State.
Hold on.
Who-
Can you say who drafted him in our league too? Pause.
All right. So in the first round of our draft, we had Steve, who earned the number 1 pick by finishing last in our league, and he took Ashton Genty, running back for the Las Vegas Raiders.
No surprise.
And he got a bag of dicks.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
and
already
he had to tank to get it. Steve, if you're hearing this podcast, yeah, I'm talking to you, talking to you, motherfucker.
Okay.
See, already.
All right, Angry Joy.
All right. Let's
okay.
keep going.
At pick 2, Tyrone. He took Omarion Hampton, running back, drafted by the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 3, it was originally Kyle's pick here, but he traded it to me, and I took Travion Henderson, running back for the New England Patriots. Pick 4 was Dennis. He took Travis Hunter, wide receiver / cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next, illustrious Tony took Teterola McMillan, wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. Josh, he took Quinshon Judkins, running back for the Cleveland Browns. Joey's pick was traded to Tony yet again, and he took Caleb Johnson, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our illustrious host here had the original pick, but he traded it to Josh, and he took Matthew Golden, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. And my original pick here, which is pick 9, because I was runner-up for the championship, I took R.J. Harvey, running back for the Denver Broncos. And our champion, who was Monster, he had this pick, but he traded it to Steve, and he took Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Bucks, and that's our first round.
Right in front of me. I was so pissed. That's all I had the 201, also from Steve, and that's who I really wanted.
Could we agree, though, that first round is a pretty good first round as far as, like, draft picks? What do you think? I think those are solid players all the way through.
I thought it was a great draft before, like,
this
before what we know now, and I still think it is. So.
This is one of the strongest running back classes that we've seen in the last, I would say, 6 or 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
Tight ends, too, man.
Yeah.
This draft is pretty good in tight ends as well. Okay, so which one of us had the first pick as far as you?
Rico.
It was me.
Okay, so let's walk us through your process.
Yeah, it was me. So of course, this falls along the lines of our newest member here, Kyle, who took over a team that was, let's just be honest, it was stagnant. Had some good pieces, but clearly a rebuild was needed. And so I asked him, I just said, hey, is any of your picks available? That's all I asked.
All of them were.
Right. Now,
I literally traded away the 1-0. I had the third pick, so 103, 203, 303, 403. I traded all of them away.
Yeah. So I had one clear goal in mind. I needed to revamp my running back room as much as possible. So given the fact that it was a deep running back draft class, if there was an advantage for me to take, I was going to do it. So I asked him, I said, hey, if I give you some pieces here, can I get one? Is it possible if I had to do a trade up? Because I had pick 9. I was willing to move up if I had to, using that pick plus something else to move up to 103 if I had to. But then the trade offers was made to me, and
you want me to give them trade?
Yeah. So I'm pulling it up right now. So the trade involved was the 103 and your 301, I believe.
Nope. No, here it is. It's the 103 and the 303, and I got Tank Bigsby, JSN, the 309, and a 2026 second rounder.
Yeah. So, I gave up more assets, but I was able to obtain another first rounder, which was earlier, while still keeping my original pick in the first round. So, to me, it was a give and take. He got younger assets for his team. He still got a future pick for next year, which is definitely what he wanted. And I was able to make sure I moved ahead by some of our more savvier players in our league, mainly Tony, Josh, and Steve, and able to get a running back that I wanted. So, to me, I thought it was pretty fair. I think the league in general thought it was pretty fair, I think.
Oh, I got a lot of crap for it.
Oh, okay.
They thought the 103 was worth a whole lot more, but I really like JSN. I like Tank. The 303 for the 309 was essentially just
that's a wash in my opinion.
It was just a pick swap, and I got a second rounder next year.
I'm going to echo Tony on this one, though, man. You were aggressive, and and you have to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah, how many trades have we seen that we got mad at, but then it winds up being the total opposite of
what we thought it was?
Yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that was pretty much the first big deal that we had this year, and I think both sides were pretty happy, and we got the goals that we wanted. So
yeah, and you'll see that theme throughout this. I traded away established older players for young talent and picks. So over the next 4 years, I have 17 picks. I have 4 firsts, 5 seconds, 4 fourths, and 4 thirds.
That's how you rebuild a team.
Yep. Yeah. So over the next couple of years, I should be able to rebuild my roster. So that's what I tried to do.
Yeah. And so after that, the next person that actually had a draft pick was Tony here. And he also was able to get 2 picks. So please, Tony.
Yeah. So previous to, it was like last year, like a year and a half ago, that I traded Kamara for the 108, but I also had the 105. So it was kind of like Hader. I needed to upgrade my running backs. I also traded in this offseason before the draft. I traded Kenneth Walker for 2 seconds, which included the 201 this year. So that's why I did it, because I thought I thought I was smarter than everyone. I had a plan. Didn't kind of work, but so I needed running backs, right? My Kenneth Walker was my number 1 running back on my team, and he was gone. So I knew that this draft was deep in running backs, and so that was my plan. At the 105, though, Tet McMillan was there, and I had to pivot. I don't want to reach on running backs just because I need them. So I took what I thought was the best player available, and Tet McMillan for the Panthers. And I'm happy about it, and I'm happy about it still. So I think he's going to have a really good game today.
So let me ask you this. Which would you rather have? And now this is kind of a loaded question. Which would you rather have if you are a contender? Best available or what?
I mean, hard to say, right? Because I don't know what players we're talking about, but I'm always most likely going to take best player available. However, in the past, I have been known to take a running back over a different position all the time. What was it, like the first 7 years, I only took a running back in the first round. Yeah. Justin Jefferson was the only receiver I took in the first round before Tet. Only one. So bad, right? So there you go. But if Tet turns out like Justin Jefferson, I'll be very happy, won't I? But so yeah, so you got to pivot sometimes. But I'm usually going best player. But sometimes I think the best player is the running back more than other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Which would you rather have, the pick or the proven commodity if you are not a contender?
Oh, the pick. If I'm not a contender, because it could be used as currency too, and not just
yes.
So you can make that into
you can turn
a
into
better young
else.
player.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not trying to leech any intel off of you or anything like that. I think we all know each other well enough. I'm just asking these questions for the audience.
Yeah. So I like to use picks as currency, kind of like Pig and I were talking about earlier. You got all those picks. It doesn't mean you got to use them all.
Right. Exactly.
You'll see, and you'll hear everybody around the table how they traded during this draft. Draft day, there's like 10 times more trades than during the season. That's because it's draft day. It's fun. Everybody wants to draft, and they overpay a little bit, and you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, and we're all in person too, so we get to see everyone's reaction. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, I had the 108. Like I said, all right. Right after I took Tet, Quinshon Juggins went, and I was mad at the time, and so I've struggled with the Caleb Johnson and RJ Harvey conundrum, right? Like I think a lot of owners did, and I went Caleb Johnson because he's big. Yes, he's not super fast, but we know he was clocked pretty fast in college. He didn't have the greatest 40 time, but I thought he landed in a great spot. The Steelers, even though they took him in the 3rd round, that was their 2nd pick in the draft. So I liked that. Harvey's like almost 25 already, the guy, and yes, he probably will catch a lot more passes than Caleb Johnson, but I just went with the young, big, physical guy on a team that likes big, physical guys, so in the Steelers. So that was, it doesn't look that great now, but I think by the end of the year, it'll be fine. And then I don't know if you want me to go back into the 2nd round because I went nuts. I went nuts in this draft. I got lots of picks.
Well, before you do that, so that leads us to the pick 8, which was originally our host pick. So why don't you talk about that, because you made a trade.
Yes, so
you traded out.
Like a long time ago, not like right before this draft, I traded Alvin Kamara for Joey's 1st rounder. I didn't know what that was going to be. It wound up being the 108. So and I was like not super happy about it.
No, you had the 107. The 108 belonged to Jay, and Jay traded with Josh.
This pick was traded with Steve, and Steve traded it to Josh.
Oh, wow. Okay. But either way, it was originally yours.
Right. I traded that pick for Chase Brown.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good trade. Yeah.
Good job. Okay. Well, then, so that came back to me. So now at 109, I was scared shitless only because I really, really wanted Caleb Johnson. I really wanted him. But I figured once you took him and once Josh made the trade with Steve, I thought for sure that he was going to take another running back there. And I was
Me too.
Yeah. And I was like, there's no way in the world that another running back could fall to me. And lo and behold, he took Matthew Golden, and I was happier than a pig in slop. So I immediately ran up. I think there was a couple of people who wanted to make a trade with me, but I refused to. I refused to let that go.
Nope.
So yeah, I immediately ran up to the board and I grabbed RJ Harvey here. So for me, this really made me happy because I felt like I grabbed the two best PPR running backs in this draft between Trevion Henderson and RJ Harvey, who both have pass catching skill sets.
And
So
for the record, I mean, Hader, he's not exaggerating when he said he ran up to the board.
Yep.
And he did get a little lucky having Josh there. Josh is our huge Texas fan in the league. So, my Matthew Golden went to Texas. So,
well, here's the thing about that. Like, the biggest thing about our league is at one point or another, we've all worked together, all except for Steve. He's the only person that we have not directly worked with. But the rest of us have all been in the same office together. So we always have conversations. And even now, Josh is my boss, basically. So we have conversations all the time. So it's not a time to actually get intel on him, but it is a way to peer in his mind to where he's thinking, where he's leaning, where he's not. And so, yes, even though he talked about Matthew Golden a little bit, but he gave me the indication that he was just insistent on grabbing running backs, period. And his problem was he wanted to thread the needle a little bit. There was a little bit of conversation where he wanted to actually grab either Colston Loveland or
Tyler
Warren.
Yep.
He was thinking about that too because, the whole Kyle Pitts situation. But I had no idea where he was going after he made the Quinshon Judkins pick. Once he did that, I was like, it's completely wide open where he's going to go next. So once the draft actually happened, we were actually on the clock, and I guess the pressure was on, and maybe his fandom got the best of him, and that's why he went Matthew Golden, and there I was waiting to take advantage of it. So
Josh also has Saquon Barkley and Breece Hall, so it's not like we feel bad for him. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. That's also true too.
Yeah.
So like I said, that was my pick after that, and then Steve took Ibuka at the 110.
That crushed me because I had the 201, which I just explained in my hard trade. Dang.
Yes. So now that moved
That helped me though, because I got to trade for the 201.
Yes. So that gave the opportunity to Kyle here, who took I guess you traded with Steve.
Yeah.
For the 201.
Can I tell this part?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I had the 203 from the very beginning of the draft. I'd already traded away my pick in the first round. So from the very get-go, I was looking for Cam Scatterbo. Like that was, I watched him in college. I'm a huge college fan. That was my target at running back. When looking at the draft, I thought he would be there available. And then running back started just flying off in the draft. And so once RJ Harvey came off the board, the next person off the board was going to be Cam. And I had the 203, the 201 was coming up. And that's when I made the trade with Tony. I traded away Aaron Jones to do a pick swap. It was a good thing I did because Tyrone had the 202.
He's a Giants fan.
Yeah.
And when I got the 201 and I went and picked Cam, he got so upset he literally had to walk outside the house. He had to walk out and take a breather.
Oh man,
he was hot.
It's like white noise, man. It just gives you joy.
Yeah. So if I hadn't made that pick swap, I would have missed out on Cam. And
it was cool. That was like some NFL draft shit too, like jumping right ahead of a guy you probably knew was going to take.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was hot. Yeah. So I was like, sorry, man. And he just walked out the house. I was like, okay, all right.
So after that, after you took Cam, Tyrone came back after he got his feelings back together. He took Jaden Higgins, and then that puts us back on the clock with Tony, who decided to go with Tyler Warren.
Yep. So like what Big just said, we swapped those picks. Plus I got Aaron Jones, which again helped me in my running back room, which I really needed. And I got Tyler Warren, the guy I wanted. If it wasn't for Ibuka, it was Tyler Warren. So I wound up getting the guy I wanted anyway. So it worked out for everybody. Mm-hmm. Cool. I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after that, the 204, Dennis took Kyle Williams. He is also a Patriots fan, so of course he would take a Patriots rookie. And then Tony was back on the clock, but he decided to make a trade with me.
Again.
Yes. And so we made a deal, and I think you actually won this because I traded Chuba Hubbard and a 27th third for that pick and Marshawn Lloyd, who yet again is hurt.
The dude is glass.
And I think, and we're talking, we can talk about this now, but to me, it was a choice between either Marshawn, at least I was thinking, it was a choice between Marshawn Lloyd or Blake Corum. And I don't know if I would have suggested Blake Corum if you still would have took the deal anyway. I'm not sure, but I feel like I really made a mistake there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the time though, at the time I liked Lloyd. I know he was hurt his rookie year.
Yeah.
But he's fast and he has athleticism. So
the profile fits.
Yeah, man. I liked him. The team is right too. You know, behind an aging running back, you think he's going to be the number 2 guy who can have some juice.
Yep.
And all of a sudden we're looking at him pretty highly after this year, right? But
yeah,
go ahead.
And to be honest, between the both of us, we do think a lot alike.
Yes.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. We hate picking around each other. It's just annoying.
Yep. And I think it's because of that I make moves the way I do. Especially in the rookie draft, if you're close to a range where I'm looking for a particular player, I have to jump ahead of you. Otherwise, I'm not going to get it because more than likely you'll take him. So in this case, after that trade, I went with Colston Loveland. So I was very happy about that. And I have Brock Bowers from the previous year, so I feel like I have tight ends for the future. Josh went after me. He took Luther Burden, wide receiver for Chicago Bears. And then he also made a trade with our commissioner here, and he took Trey Harris after that. But since the trade involved our commissioner, how about you want to talk about that?
I don't even remember what I got for him on that one.
I don't think it was a draft day trade, was it?
No, it wasn't a draft day trade.
Okay, so this is probably like a couple years back.
It probably was. What the hell did I trade him for? But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay. Oh, well, actually, no. Actually, the deal involves Steve. So maybe it's a trade between you and Steve. And then Steve made a trade with
Oh, that's
Josh.
right. Okay, so it was it Tony Pollard? I think I traded.
That makes sense.
I think it might have been, well, no, because Tony Pollard, he gave him up for a third. I don't remember. I just don't remember off the top of my head, man.
Okay, well, either way.
I mean, we have so many deals that actually take place throughout, I mean, I guess I could figure it out, by getting into all the settings, but,
And that's the thing about also with Dynasty Leagues. You can, when you make trades involving future picks, you don't see how they're realized until after the fact, you know?
You don't feel it, too, until after the fact as well.
That is also true.
Yeah.
So after that, Trey Harris comes off the board to Josh, and then our host here, he was back on the board, and he decided to go with Mason Taylor.
Yeah, the reason for that pick was I really liked watching him in college. LSU, I think is where he was at. I like the upside. He seems to me like a little bit more of a quicker Noah Fant in a way.
Okay.
So, and him going to the Jets, I mean, what's his competition? Let's be honest, right? So I thought and then with Justin Fields going there, I thought he'd probably get plenty of targets for as a safety blanket because Justin Fields doesn't really.
He doesn't move the
net
net
all over the yard,
no.
Right? He's either looking for his check down or his safety net.
Yeah.
And that was my philosophy in drafting. And plus, I already have Njoku on my roster, and I have Jonnu Smith. I didn't like Jonnu Smith being traded to the Steelers because Karen Rodgers doesn't really throw to his tight ends all very much. So that's why I drafted Mason Taylor.
Okay. So that came back to me, and I decided to take Cam Ward.
First quarterback off the board.
Yes, first quarterback off the board at this point. Biggest philosophy here, I have Tua, I have Brock Purdy, and I traded for J.J. McCarthy. So pretty young room, but right now, those 3 quarterbacks have some type of question mark attached to them. So I'm kind of protecting myself for the future because, especially with Tua, let's be real, he could be out of the league before the season's over. Let's just
Or the day's over.
Yeah.
Shit.
So Cam Ward has a profile that I like. He is kind of a running quarterback, even though he doesn't prefer to do that. But I like his spunk, if you will. So Monster, the champion, took Jack Bash, and that put us in the 3rd round, where Tony was able to trade with Steve. Steve was a very active trader in this draft. So traded with Steve, and you took Bashal Tootin. You want to talk about that?
I did. So I probably, at the time, I traded Jaden Reed straight up for this pick. So
what school is he out of? Do you remember what school he came out?
Yeah. Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So again, my goal in this draft was to just get as many running backs as I can possibly have. I like big, very fast, athletic guys, and that's what Bashal Tootin is. So, not a lot of hype coming out of college, but after the combine, he kind of had some juice and went to the Jaguars, which I thought was a pretty decent landing spot. Remember, at the time of this draft, a lot of hoopla about Travis Etienne being traded, all that. So either way, I like the player, and I just want talent on my team, right?
Yep.
So I think probably overpaid for the 301. Gave Jaden Reed straight up for it. Now it's, Jaden Reed was hurt last year, even though I think he's a very good receiver, but he was banged up last year. He's already hurt this year, and he's probably not even going to play today. So, Bayshall's a little buried in Jacksonville, but I like him.
I think that's a sneaky good pick, honestly. At 301, that's a sneaky good pick in my opinion.
I mean, I'm not mad at it now. Even now, it's like, let's see what happens this year.
I think I told you that too at the 301 because I picked 308, and I think I was trying to get the 301. Yeah, I was trying to trade you for it, and you didn't want to because you had your guy.
Oh yeah,
and that was the guy.
I just traded a good receiver for. I was offering up guys all day for all kind of stuff. So
and that was one of the guys that I wanted. Cool.
So the next two picks, one involved with me with Tyrone, but that was based off a trade from last year, and that was I took Jarquez Hunter, running back for the Rams, and then I made a deal with, I believe. Oh yeah, that was part of the original deal with involving the first round picks with Kyle here, and I took Jalen Noel, a wide receiver for Houston, after that. And then there was a trade between Tyrone and Dennis, and Tyrone took Jaden Blue, which is very surprising because he's a Giants fan, and he took a Cowboy, so that was weird. And then Tony came back up again, and he was able to get Woody Marks, running back out of Houston.
Again, just stacking running backs. This is a PPR guy strictly, and those are valuable sometimes. Throwing your flex.
Yeah, you sniped me on that one. I remember that.
Yep.
Looking okay now. I'm happier about it today than I was then, even.
Yeah, especially with Joe Mixon being out.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh made a trade with Steve, and he took Dylan Sampson, running back out of Cleveland. And then finally, our commissioner was able to make a pick, and he decided to take Jalen Royals, wide receiver from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, so this was an interesting draft, and I really don't have a lot of skin in this fight, just because one of the questions that I just asked Tony not too long ago was, would you rather have the picks or would you rather have proven commodities? The last 2 years I've actually been in contention. Now that could change in a flash. I could end up being right back to the middle of the pack again this year. Who knows? How the game is played. But considering that I've actually been doing pretty well lately, I decided to go ahead and make some trades. I am not afraid to pull the trigger on a first-round pick if I'm going to get a proven commodity or getting certain pieces. So this draft, I literally had one pick, and this was it. I actually went into it having 3 picks, but I traded 2 of them. So Dennis, he's one of the few guys in our league that's very, very difficult to trade with outside the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But come draft day, when it like Jay was actually saying, people, they start wheeling and dealing just because everybody's right there. And anyway, so I traded with Dennis twice, and the first trade that I had a third round, or excuse me, it was a 4th round pick. He gave me, this still kind of mystifies me, but he actually came at me. He must have seen somebody that he really wanted at this time, because he ended up trading me his 2026 3rd round pick for my 4th round pick. And that 4th round pick ended up being I think it was
Tosh Brooks?
No. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting Brooks off of that pick. But I ended up getting a 3rd round pick, which is probably going to be an early 3rd round pick if I had to take a stab at it. I don't mean to say that, I'm not trying to be a dick, but, anyway. And then the other draft or trade that I actually made was he offered me, it was a 3rd round pick. It was a late 3rd round pick for Troy Franklin for the Broncos. And, I just couldn't say no. A 3rd round pick, as far as I'm concerned, especially when they're late 3rd round picks, I kind of view those as dart throws.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Troy Franklin, he started balling at the end of the year last year. And so if he actually, we'll see, once again, Troy Franklin and Bo Nix, they went to college together, and, he was one of his favorite targets going in there. So, it could be good. But if it doesn't work out for me, as far as Troy Franklin is concerned, all I gave up was a 3rd round pick.
All right. So after that, the host came back again, and he was able to get Jimmy Horn Jr., wide receiver out of Carolina. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, this was a reach pick for me. I took a gamble only because I got sniped in the beginning of the third round twice. So I just went with a wide receiver because I need some wide receiver depth. I need to get younger. And this one more was a reach pick for me, but I like it. I liked him coming out of Colorado. I like his speed. I like the way he runs routes. And I think Carolina's going to utilize him special teams first for kickoffs and punt returns. But at some point, I do see him.
He may be thrown into the fire today because Jalen Coker's on IR and they just traded Thielen, dude.
I saw that this morning.
Yeah,
and I saw that the morning. And he's a solid. When you have Deion Sanders putting his stamp on you as far as a wide receiver goes, I'm going to believe him. Or Coach Deion Sanders, let me say that. So that was my philosophy on that.
Yep. After that, I came back and I grabbed Jordan James, a running back for the 49ers. And, of course, for me, it's just basically a philosophy for any San Francisco running back.
Yep.
More than likely, he will get some run at some point because they ended up getting hurt. And we saw some news about Christian McCaffrey today. So
He's going to play, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't know for how long. Okay. So I'll just run through the rest, and then we'll just leave it a roundtable discussion for anybody to talk about if they want. So Monster came back with Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of the Rams, which moved us to the 4th round. Host here traded with Steve again, and he grabbed Shedeur Sanders. Not Tony.
Well, let me. So that was value I couldn't pass up. Was Shedeur Sanders being at the 401? I just couldn't pass it up.
Okay.
All right.
You wanted your boy.
Yeah.
Tyrone took Torrey Horton, wide receiver out of Seattle. Monster came back, traded with Kyle, and he got Devin Neal, running back for the Saints. Kyle took Alec Iomatter, wide receiver for Tennessee.
I'm pretty happy about that one.
Yeah, he's probably starting today.
Yeah. He's hit the starting roster, and they say he's got a real connection with Cam Ward. So that he was great at Stanford. So I'm glad I could pick him up in the 4th round. So.
Yep. And then Tony came back and got DJ Giddens, running back out of the Colts.
Good choice,
Just
by the way.
running backs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good pick. Josh made a trade. Either he was involved in the trade with Steve, and he took Eric Arroyo, tight end out of Seattle. Dennis came back with the trade from our commissioner, and he got Taj Brooks. We already talked about that. Tyrone got he sniped me.
Nice.
God, he sniped me. He grabbed Ollie Gordon, running back out of Miami,
Looking really good now.
and he will forever be on his roster because Tyrone doesn't trade. I made a deal with Dennis, and he got Pat Bryant, wide receiver for Denver, and the champ came back and took Harold Fannin, tight end out of Cleveland. So hopefully he'll see him in action today because he's actually watching a season opener for the Cleveland Browns today. And that's our rookie draft.
Okay. Anybody want to offer any grades?
I think I did great.
Of course you do.
So okay, I'll put it this way. I took 4 picks, and I turned them into Tank Bigsby, JSN, Cam Scatterbo, Alec Alamorna, and I also got a 2nd rounder and 2 third rounders in next year's draft. So, I turned 4 picks into 3 additional picks next year, plus those 4 players. So I think I did pretty well.
I would give myself a B only because the picks I do have, the running backs, of course, they stand on their own. A tight end of the future and Loveland, and then with Cam Ward is also a future pick as well. And then the rest is basically depth pieces. So they could pan out, they could show out, but for the most part, I think I built myself for the future because next year I only have 2 picks and I don't have a first.
Well, you and Tony had a ton of freaking picks, like a ton. Between the 2 of you, it's like half the players went to you and Tony.
Well, a lot of that happened during the draft too.
Yes,
I didn't
exactly.
Yeah.
And I moved a lot of pieces off my roster too. So
I give myself an incomplete. I really didn't participate, I had my 1 pick, the other 2 I traded. So.
Hey, but that's because the prior 2 years you had a bunch, and that you were kind of like, there's ebbs and flows, right? Sometimes you have a lot, sometimes you don't.
What about your grade?
I think I did really well because my goals were met. I needed running backs. I got a whole stable of running backs. I didn't even give up a lot of talent or future picks either, so I feel really good. The only tight end on my roster is George Kittle. I came away with Ty Warren. I think I'm just happy about it. Yes, my starting running backs are a little old, but I can deal with that.
I like Tyler Warren a lot, man. I think he's going to be good.
And to your point, you only had 1 pick, but you turned your other picks into,
Assets.
really assets. So
Something.
Yeah.
Yep.
what about you, host?
Mine's a D+, C-. If Shedeur pans out, then I might bump it up to a C+. But
For sure.
Jimmy
but you didn't have a lot
Horn
of picks.
Mace, I only had 3.
Yeah, so
And I like the upside on 2 out of the. Actually, I like the upside on all 3 of them, but for impact, I'll probably say right now I'll be at a D+, C-. So we'll see if these guys get.
well, we ain't mad at that.
Nope.
No, you're not. No, you're not. But that's okay. It's cool. So that was the grades. Anybody want to do any Alamo minutes? Any shout outs?
Yes.
Kiss my grits. Let's start.
Okay.
Let's go.
I got one. It's basically an Alamo minute and a Kiss My Grits all in the same situation. That bitch from the Philly Karen,
Oh, the
what she did to that
the
kid,
baseball game.
man, that was a special kind of fucked up there, man. So basically what it was Bader, he actually had a solo home run, okay? The father comes running over to the side and manages to get the ball, right? Well, right in front of him, there was this Karen that was actually literally comes up to him as he gives the ball to his son. He was forced by this Karen to actually take that ball away from his son and give it to this pig. Well, okay, so she can kiss my grits, okay? But on the other hand, Bader, he actually one-upped him. He actually had that boy come down into the dugout. Well, not into the dugout, but into the locker rooms and stuff like that. And he presented him a signed, autographed baseball bat of his own.
That's awesome.
And then, class act.
I'm pretty sure he probably got a bat and some cleats and a jersey.
Well, he's got
too.
some other things too.
They even sent a package to him at the seats when they were there. Like they must have seen it on the screen or something.
It was a Marlins fan that
pretty
actually
cool.
did it. It wasn't even a Phillies fan. It was a Marlins fan.
Yeah, it
He
was
was
pretty
actually
cool.
wearing a Phillies jersey or Philly shirt.
Good one.
So class act for the Marlins for how they actually treated it, and class act for Bader. So
Yeah.
that's my 210 moment.
Good one.
Oh, I got to kiss my grits this morning.
Oh boy.
And it's a repeat yet again.
Oh boy.
Angel Reese, come on down.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I'll make this real fast. Now, she was suspended for the first half of their next game. I think they play the Vegas Aces today, I believe. She was suspended for detrimental comments against her own team.
Oh,
Now,
man.
No.
I'm not going to say what those comments were, but I'm just going to make very, very one quick point. Your record, the Chicago Sky, right now is 10-31. And you played a lot of those games, Angel.
They trying to tank for Juju.
You and your me-bound self had the nerve to talk about your own team, and you're supposed to be the leader, and all you have is 10 wins to show for it?
She throwing bricks on and off the court.
Yes, indeed. Angel, please learn from your mistakes. Take several seats back and kiss my grits.
Dang, say with your whole soul. Jeez. Oh, got anything?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the Arkansas Razorbacks. They played our in-state school, Arkansas State, for the first time ever in 100 years. They've been trying to get us to play them. We finally played them and beat the ever-living dog crap out of them. So our little brother in-state can kiss my grits. It was like 56-14. It was a true beatdown. They asked for it,
Hey.
They asked around and they found out, so.
And they got a check at the end, right?
But now everybody knows Arkansas State is an actual college.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I have. Oh, do you have any?
No, I'm good.
Okay, sorry. So I have 2 Alamo minutes, and one of them I spoke the business's name from the last pod. It's not emergency. It's City Vet. They're the ones who took care of my dog when my wife and I were in Mexico and had some issues, and there's communication issues as far as like us being able to get in touch with them because there was no cell service where we're at. And they did a really good job. The second one is to the Philadelphia Eagle fans during the game. They booed the weather advisory when the lightning was 6 miles away.
What else are they going to do in Philly?
And I love it.
Did.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. The players are going in the locker room. And the lightning is like 6 miles away. It's not even there. They can still play. And when they brought them out, the Philly Eagles fans were booing it. Love it. So
Awesome.
Alamo minute to the Philadelphia Eagle fans. That's all I have, gentlemen. Anything else?
Nope. Just thanks for listening, guys, and letting you in on our personal fantasy life that we care so much about. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thank you to the fans, and God bless the NFL.
Enjoy the games.
And just as a reminder, we are out there in social media. We are now on YouTube. So please, we appreciate your feedback. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment if there's
Make sure
anything like
you like and
subscribe, baby.
Whoop it.
All righty. Take care.